Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Soft Power Project. Today, I wanted to share with you my journey of understanding what confidence is and basically my understanding before and my understanding now, because I think confidence is something that really needs to have a new sort of definition. So, the first time I encountered the importance of confidence is really when I studied abroad in Canada when I was in high school. Now, growing up in Taiwan, humility is the virtue. Only speak up when you got something good to say. That's basically the lessons that I understood. And I think a lot of my peers and a lot of people in Asia probably understand that. Never oversell yourself, never talk too much, never talk too early. Always think about what you wanted to say. It's really about the substance, it's not about the performance. So, having that mentality and then arriving in North America in a more Western mindset, I was so shocked to notice that my classmates around me were asking questions with answers right in front of them. And what's even more shocking to me was actually the teachers didn't mind answering the question. And none of the classmates were laughing or anything. So I learned at that point was that, okay, so confidence is really about just say stuff, just speak up. It doesn't really matter what that is. And then when I went to university in America, and I study in an accounting program. And the accounting program at a time at University of Illinois really focused on presentation skills. So essentially, they really focus on building your confidence because they want every single one of the students to be able to stand in front of the CEO and CFO and present. So I had to do a lot of presentation skills and I really had to learn a lot. I had to understand how to present with the right body language, the correct phrasings, and how to look confident even when I am just incredibly nervous or not knowing what to say. And I remember particularly we had participation points in every single one of those classes where I absolutely have to raise my hand and ask questions in order to get these points. And at the time, it was still very, very difficult for me because I still struggled with raising my hand and ask a question quickly. I still had to think about if my question is going to be stupid or it needs to be more profound. And so by the time I actually have a questions, opportunity passed, like the speaker was on another subject. So I was incredibly difficult for me, but I allowed myself to just time and time again to stand on stage and practice and practice and practice. And eventually I was pretty proud of myself, of my presentation skills. But honestly, I don't think I was having fun on stage. I think I just understood how to perform. So I was working in the States for years in a few years in finance industry and also in fashion industry. After I came back to Taiwan, I started to teach. And for many years now, I teach communication and I also teach working professionals here in Taiwan how to present confidently in English. So the way I taught these students for a very long time, I use that mindset that I've learned in the States. Confidence is visibility. Confidence is a performance that you put on stage. The body language, the tone of voice, the way you say things, how you phrase things. It was really about the performance. But time and time again, I would have difficulty or I would experience my students, most of them from Asia, having really hard time to reframe and to kind of reframe their mindset of what confidence looks like, because they would be like me, back when I was in high school, feeling very awkward to talk quickly or to say something when they probably felt like they needed more time. And I would teach this one particular course in college, and I'm still teaching that right now. It's a resume slash interview course where they need to learn how to confidently, again, that word, to talk about their experience. And a lot of them are having a hard time because, not because they don't have anything to show, a lot of them actually have PhD. They had a lot of experience, but they just always feel like their experience is not good enough. And this is a common theme that I've experienced a lot, especially from a lot of high achievers in Taiwan, where they feel like their experience is not good enough. I really started to think about, okay, what is confidence? Because I feel like I understand both sides. I understand you need to have substance in order to speak up. I still believe in that. But I also understand that when you're standing with a room of 50, 100 people, and you only have 10 minutes to present, you got to speak up quickly. You got to show yourself. You got to present. You got to put up a performance. And that's a reality. So I understand both sides because you need both to stand out in the international setting. But I think my problem is that there are more and more people, they think of confidence nowadays because they're getting a lot of examples from social media. And I think with social medias, the confidence, the definition is so distorted because a line between confidence, performance, arrogance, and delusion, it's very blurred now. And obviously on social media, it reward the people who talk with absolute certainty, regardless whether or not they actually understand the subject at all. Obviously, right? But I think that's an example that we see a lot now. So, telling a lot of Asian students to change who they are, it's almost impossible. Telling them that stop thinking too much, you're fine, and humility, forget about that. You can't, because it's not fair. So instead, I would tell them, confidence is knowing how to speak the truth with clarity without needing to soften it for the room, without exaggerating or shrinking. Ultimately, confidence is really trusting yourself. Because with deep level of trust in yourself, you get to have these difficult conversations. I think what I'm trying to get at is that confidence in 2026 is not just about presenting on stage and answering difficult questions. Is really talking about uncertainty and owning that and saying, I don't know the answer, or saying, I don't know what's going to happen, or telling your staff that there may be a reorg and I don't know when. It's that. That is the pure confidence nowadays in 2026. I think the performative version of confidence, it worked before, but I think with time and a lot of things are happening right now, it's not that important. So it's really about that sense of trust in yourself. And I think that is something that we can take no matter what your cultural background is, no matter what your belief is, and that is universal. And I'd love to know your thoughts on what your definition of confidence. Thank you so much for listening. I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.